Okay, so in the workshop, we've covered the bra, both cups of the bra. To finish the front of the bra, if you can look closely here, all I did, I covered in two different pieces, folded the excess of the last cup over, and pulled it down to the side. If it's one color, it works great. If it's two colors, you would just cover it with your trim. But pull it across and sew that down to make it, you know, a finished looking product. On the back of the bra, after you have the cups covered, you'll want to take and cut off all the excess fabric. So anywhere there's excess fabric that's not sewn down, cut that off. Just pull it up, and just cut it away. So you'll just want to cut all of the excess fabric off. And it doesn't have to be real neat. Just make sure that there's nothing overlapping. Okay? So the inside of your bra should be totally free of any extra fabric. Now to cover the side band of your bra, you'll need a piece of fabric that's longer than the actual strap. You'll want to fold that over to make a neat seam. Lay it across where the cup meets the band and pin that down. So you'd want to pin it all along where the cup meets the band. Just like that. Then you'll want to lay it down and pin across the top of that. So it would look like this. It would be all pinned down, folded under, ready to sew. And you would stitch that by hand across where you folded it. Then pin it onto the band about, I would say, about 3 inches down. Then you'll want to take that fabric in your hand loosely, grab a hold of the band, and pull it very tight, and go ahead and sew it through the machine on the edges. Don't pin the bottom part, because if you just lay it in there like that and sew it, it'll never fit you. It has to stretch. So you'll need to stretch it as far as it will go as you run it through the sewing machine, sewing that down on the sides. Don't sew the very end, because you'll need to make a flap to cover where it hooks. So after that's done, you'll just want to trim the underside so it's just like the bra cup, where no excess fabric is hanging over to scratch you. So at this point, after you get both sides covered, you'll need to cover your bra straps. And there's a couple of ways to go about doing this. You can cover it with fabric so that it matches your bra, and you would just wrap it around it, because that grosgrain grain is not going to stretch. So you could cover it that way. Or an easy way to cover it would be just to add your trim. So you would want to run trim down each side of that ribbon. Just sew it with the sewing machine. You can sew it by hand. But depending upon the width of your trim, you want to totally cover that piece of gross grain fabric. So you may have to run a piece down the middle, and then a piece on each side. So it would be like 3 pieces of trim to cover that. Or you could run 2. Just make sure it's completely covered to where you cannot see that actual piece of gross grain ribbon. You want it to be completely finished. Okay? And then with the same trim, you'll want to cover the edges of your bra. So you would just pin it along the top of the bra cup. You'll want to pin it down the side of the bra cup, everywhere you have a seam, you want to trim that, just so it will look like a finished bra. You don't want any raw edges showing. So once you have your entire bra trimmed, you'll even want to go down this side, you know, where it goes around the back. Have it totally trimmed, every outer edge, every seam. Now this seam that runs along the bra cup, don't trim that. You don't want that trimmed because you'll have an applique there.